Hi everyone, my name's Alana. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Mental Health with Alana. For this week's video, I'm going to be talking about BPD and age regression. I have done a video on this on my TikTok if you'd like to see a condensed version, but today I'm going to be going over a couple points about what it is, why it happens, and some things that you can do if you are a friend, a family member, or somebody who is supporting somebody who may be experiencing this. Before I get into the video, make sure you press that red subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up as it really helped me out, and if you're interested in following any of my social medias, it's all linked down below in my link tree, so check that out. So quickly going over what BPD is, BPD, also known as borderline personality disorder or EUPD, emotionally unstable personality disorder, is a personality disorder that is based around having really up and down emotions, very hard time regulating your emotions, and often signs of this disorder can come across as being very impulsive, very self-destructive, engaging in self-destructive coping mechanisms, because when you're living with so much chaos internally and externally in your relationships, in your job, in your maybe your work life, in your family, in just within your own mind, when you're living in this place of emotional dysregulation, it affects everything and it really bleeds out into all areas of life. So that is, in a nutshell, a very short and quick version of what BPD is. If you want to know more, you can watch my previous videos on what is BPD, which will go into way more detail. Or you can Google it if you want as well. But for today's topic, I'm going to be talking about age regression. So age regression is not a sexual thing. This is not something that is a fetish. I'm going to be talking about age regression in a way that is talking about mental health. So age regression is basically what it sounds like. It can be when somebody has a mental health condition. It doesn't have to be BPD. It could be a different one, but often mental disorders that come from trauma, whether it be trauma from the home, trauma from external circumstances, situations, whatever it is, has caused some trauma in your life and most likely has played a part in you developing this disorder. And what happens is when a person feels unsafe or triggered, this could be in a PTSD sense, but this can also just be with feeling triggered in a conversation. Maybe you have a fight with somebody. This could be having really uncertain feelings around a situation, high anxiety, high, stress levels. A person can kind of age regress, which is why it's called age regression. A person can kind of revert back to a younger version of themselves. This should not be mistaken with DID, dissociative identity disorder. I'm not talking about it in that context. That is a completely different disorder. I'm not talking about it in DID context. I'm talking about it in a BPD, or a just generalized way of saying it. So this can look like a person regressing back kind of to a younger version of themselves. They may start behaving in ways that seem kind of childlike or childish. They may respond in arguments or, say things that are very immature or very below what their bodily age is. So they may start acting almost like a toddler would act. They may start throwing a tantrum in what would look like almost what a child would do. The person may start wanting to engage in activities that are typically kind of considered for more children. In no means am I saying that having stuffed animals and stuff, you can't have that as an adult, because I do. But I'm saying that this can sometimes actually be a part of age regression where you feel unsafe. And so say you're in a situation, say I have BPD, which I do, and I have an argument with somebody or something really upsets me and I feel really alone, or I feel really emotionally dysregulated and unsafe, or a situation might trigger trauma or something. I will immediately want to be surrounded by my stuffed animals. I may want to go and hug my stuffed animals, have them with me, take them where I'm going. I may want to watch a show that I watched when I was a kid. So I may go watch, for me, the show that I always watch is The Saddle Club, because that was my ultimate favorite show, and H2O. They were my two shows that I really loved when I was a child. So I'll go and watch that. I may watch even something that's even younger, like Winnie the Pooh. This is an example. So I may go and watch those shows. I may go and sit with stuffed animals and go put on, like, go get a really comfy blanket and go kind of just almost behave in childlike manners. This can come out in many different ways. It really depends on, like, your person, what you've experienced. It will be different for everyone. These are just some examples. This is not an extensive list. I'm just giving you an example of what this may look like. And yeah, this can happen because I feel really unsafe or whatever, upset. So I revert back to wanting things that I wanted when I was a child. What do you kind of want when you're a child? You want to feel safe, you want to feel comforted, you want to feel emotionally safe and calm. And what would you do? If you were crying when you were a kid or a baby, what did you want? You'd probably want your favorite stuffed animal. I have one that I still have now that has been my favorite one since I was like 5. I got it when I was 5. And it has a big story surrounding it, but that's actually quite funny. But that is something that I have. And so when you go into my room, yes, I am 22, but I actually have stuffed animals everywhere. I may have coloring books that, like, I have a lot of coloring books that are technically children coloring books. I have other things that maybe are considered very childish. When I go into stores and I see a bunch of stuffed animals, I always go over and look and try not to buy them. But that is like an example, and society doesn't really deem that normal for adults, but I just want to let you know that if those things bring you comfort, if watching, you know, anime, like a show from when you're a kid, if watching The Saddle Club, if watching, you know, a kid's show or a comfort show, if that's going to help you and make you feel safe and supported, that's what you need. Some people may want to be held by somebody. If you have a partner, maybe you want to be held by someone. And this can come across maybe as strange to some people because it's not considered like the normal thing, but you have to understand that when you have a mental health condition or when you have trauma or when you have BPD, things are very overwhelming and the world can get very overstimulating and very scary. If you have trauma and you feel triggered or you're having a flashback, that can be a really horrible experience. Maybe as a child you weren't given those comfort items or you weren't comforted by the adults around you that were supposed to comfort you. So there is some of the reasons why people may regress back in age. People may just feel really stressed and like they cannot handle adult responsibilities and may revert back to behaving like a child. Maybe the person has never learned how to communicate in an adult way. Sometimes this can look like behaving in an outburst or throwing almost like a tantrum. I did this up until I was probably around 18. I would throw tantrums that were honestly like a child, but it was coming from a place of trauma and things that had happened when I was younger that I didn't realize were contributing to this. I thought that this was just a normal way of behaving that everyone behaved. Until I started talking to people who were my age when I was a teenager and realizing that their version of a meltdown was definitely not the same as my version of a meltdown. This would go on for hours and was extremely emotionally distressing for me and other people around me. So that is what age regression is. If you have any other questions, leave it down below. I hope you learned something, and if you're a family or friend who are trying to support somebody with this, I would say if the person just wants your comfort, give that to them. Just ask them what they need. If they want to color in, if they want to watch a child's show, watch it with them, sit with them, do that. If they want to make, you know, if they have a favorite meal, cook them their favorite meal. Do what you would do if you were treating a child who was upset about something. You know, I'm not saying that you should be condescending, but I'm just saying that People deserve support and love where they are and where they're at, and this is a really easy way that you can provide support to them. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll see you in my next one.